Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today between the Los Angeles Angels and the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Thursday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the Angels' very own Mike Trout. And on the right, one of the best catchers in the game, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Los Angeles Angels. Leading off for the Angels at shortstop, Zach Neto. Batting second, playing first base, Nolan Shonowell. Batting third, playing third base, Denser Guzman. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing today for Los Angeles, Jorge Soler. Batting fifth, playing left field, Wade Meckler. Batting sixth, playing right field, Joe Adele. Batting seventh, playing second base, Oswald Peraza. Batting eighth, playing center field, Josh Lowe. And batting ninth, catching today for the Angels, Logan O'Hoppe. And on the mound for the Angels with a 5-6 record, ERA of 3.14, it is Walbert Urena. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, playing his 1,000th game in his career, it is J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field on a 7-game hit streak, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, DHing for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing first base, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, catching today for Seattle, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Batting seventh, playing right field, Mr. Hustle, Luke Raley. Batting eighth, playing second base, Cole Clutch Young. And batting ninth, the phenom shortstop, Colt Emerson. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 3-2 record, ERA of 1.97, it is Miller time. It's Bryce Miller. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the dono train for our first goal to start, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And we've already won the series. As we know, we ended up playing very well within the last few days, winning game 1 6-2 with Cole Clutch Young with 2 home runs in that game, as well as a homer by Dominic Canzone. We scored 8 runs in game number 2 and won 8-3. And again, we're trying to get the brooms and going for the sweep. And then after this particular matchup, we got the Toronto Blue Jays on a 3-game set for the 4th of July weekend. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40-plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. So every single stream this season, we will dedicate it to one of my favorites of all time, Rick Riz. We love you. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. All day in the building. What's good? Jerry in the building. What's good? Parker and Daniel. What's good? Angry in the building. What's good? And, again, I wasn't anticipating, on having an emergency vet visit for Paisley. I've gone, 3-4 times already within the last, 3 months. And, anyone that ends up having a dog or a cat that ends up having issues, it's a lot of money, to go to a vet. Usually you're paying $200 to $400 per visit. And, it's been $1,100, in the last 3 visits in the last 3 months. And again, anything that can be done, that can help towards that would be greatly appreciated. Every single dono this month will go towards that $400 vet bill that I got today. Obviously, she's been throwing up for the last 3 days, and they had to put a little anesthesia and work on her a little bit. And again, it's just not what I was expecting, but she's home now with the cone. And again, she's doing the best that she can. Angry with a $5, appreciate you. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't have any spending money for the game, considering the $400 vet bill. But again, my best friend will be able to cover some of that cost, and anything that we can end up getting, obviously today and tomorrow, could go towards that as well. So I appreciate you. And we're at a $5 holla, 95 to go for our first goal. Thank you so much, Angry. And again, everything will go towards Paisley, and anything, that's on top of that, well, will go towards the game, obviously, that I'm going on the 4th of July. But obviously, Paisley comes first. So first pitch to Neto, fouls it off in. Oh, and Josh Naylor gets it in foul territory. Great defense there. We'll take that. And down goes Neto, and that is 1 away. And if we can get Neto out early and often, that's going to be ideal, especially if it's going to be, on the first pitch. Again, something that a lot of our players were a little overly aggressive, but good defense there by Josh Naylor. Great job. Next up in the 2-hole, first baseman Nolan Shawnuel. On deck is Denser Guzman. First pitch to Shawnuel with a 4-seam fastball in there for a strike. 0-1 count. Chris with a 20. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Every dollar counts. We're at 25 on the dono train. 75 to go to hit our first goal, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear and go from there. But again, when you have a pet, a dog or a cat, and they end up getting sick and it ends up being unexpected, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It really, it really can affect, your bottom line. And, I was not expecting, usually when I go with Paisley to the vet, 1-1 pitch that goes low and at the knees into the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike to Nolan Shawnuel. I usually budget to take Paisley to the vet once a year, and I've already gone like 3 or 4 times within the last 3 months. And so that is not what I was expecting whatsoever, and anytime you end up having to pay, $1,100 in 3 months, I don't care who you are, that definitely can, hit the pocketbook, not in the right way. Little slow dribbler up the middle, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Great job there by Colt Emerson. We can always count on Colt and Cole Clutch Young to make some big plays up the middle. Great job there by Colt Emerson. And I assume that we're going to get some big plays from Cole Young with the defense as well. Next up for Bryce Miller is Denser Guzman. First pitch to Guzman, right down the middle for a strike, 0-1 count. So it looks like, based on what's going on with the piggyback situation, that we're going to get Luis Castillo for the first game tomorrow against the Blue Jays, and I will be live for that here. And then they're going to do the piggyback with Logan Gilbert and Emerson Hancock on the 4th of July for me and my best friend. And that's actually, I would rather have one pitcher, but if you're going to get Gilbert and Hancock, that's pretty sweet. And then on Sunday, when I come back, the Peacock exclusive on July 5th at 2:00 will be George Kirby. So we'll see what happens against the Blue Jays, and hopefully we can win 2 out of 3, if not sweep them, especially if we can get the sweep off the Angels. We could start ourselves a nice little win streak. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Splitter 86 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Guzman. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I've never had to give her 3 medications, from the vet before. It's always been just one, or two, like, anti-itch or anti-inflammatory and whatnot. But, I ended up having to get, 3 separate medicines, for her. And again, she was throwing up about 3 days in a row and then was biting her tail and, was just not right, and big swing and a miss. Down goes Guzman, and that is out number 3. But, I'm really, blessed because when I first called them up this morning, they said they didn't have an appointment until July 15th. And she's already been throwing up, for 3 days and, biting her tail and just not acting normal. And they had to use some anesthesia, and that obviously costs extra. And, I was just thinking, God, am I even going to have enough money to cover this and whatnot? And, so she's got to wear a cone for, 2 to 3 weeks. And that's going to obviously affect the exercise and things that we do. And, she was loopy, when I ended up picking her up, a few hours ago, but she is home now. And I'm hoping that there isn't any side effects with any of the medication and she'll be good to go. Because again, going to the vet 3 or 4 times in a 3-month period is not what I was expecting, but I do appreciate all the love and support. And again, anything that we can get from this stream and every stream in July is going to go towards that $400 bill. And then anything on top of that, can obviously go towards, me going to the game on the 4th of July, but my best friend will cover me. So I'm not really worried about me, I don't need to get extra beer or extra food or extra memorabilia. Paisley is the main concern. So anything that can be done, whether it be $1 to whatever you feel comfortable doing would be greatly appreciated all this month. Captain with a tenor. Thank you so much. And again, I was not expecting to go to the emergency vet this morning, but here we are. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I hope so too. And because again, I ended up going for like her regular checkup, and that was a couple months ago, like in March. Then she got an ear infection for the first time in her life. And so I was like, oh gosh, 2 times, and then we had to go back again to get more medication and have like a follow-up checkup. And then all of a sudden, throwing up, and I had to monitor her, to see if she was going to continue to throw up and whatnot. But, 3 days in a row was enough for me. And on top of biting her tail and just acting not normal. And I knew something was wrong. So, but I do appreciate every single individual here showing some love and appreciation towards me, as well as my pup. She's the most important thing to me in my life, besides obviously you guys here on the channel. And, again, I got to be a good dog father. She's my dog daughter. And I think a lot of you guys have that same type of feel for, dogs and cats that are in your, family. It's not just pets, but, she is, a family to me, 100%. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. And J.P. Crawford is playing in his 1,000th game in his career, believe it or not. 927 for the Mariners. That's 10th in Mariner history. So hopefully JP can get going early and often. Little slow dribbler up the middle for JP. Sidearm throw to first, and that is 1 away. Down goes JP Crawford, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Walbert Urania is on the mound. And again, nothing to get too crazy worked up for. 5-6 record, ERA of 3.14, and he's a righty, so we should be able to beat him up. Batting second on a 7-game hit streak, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. And I like this lineup a lot, not only because we got Bryce Miller pitching, but we got Dominic Canzone and Luke Raley in the lineup together for the first time in a minute. So, again, a very, very strong lineup, one of my favorites of the year. You got JP, Julio, and Dom at the top. You got Randy, Naylor, and Cal in the middle. And then you got Luke Raley, Cole Young, and Colt Emerson at the bottom. I don't think you can make a lineup any better than that. And we got our best pitcher on the mound based off ERA, Bryce Miller. So hopefully we can get the sweep today. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Urania to Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And thank you to all the individuals, whether it be through the Super Chat, through Venmo, or through the Cash App. Again, I hate even bringing it up, but again, when you end up getting hit with $1,100, for a vet bill in 3 visits, I think anyone would understand. So 2-1 pitch, high and inside, 3 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 3-1 pitch, little dribbler towards third and out of play. And luckily my, best friend Justin is, like a brother to me. So, if there was anything that, when we go to the game that I ended up seeing that I want, he'll cover for me. And I can always, get him back later this year, which is, not something that every friend can do, as we get a 3-2 pitch high and inside. And look at that, Julio Rodriguez forcing a walk. I like that. But, if there ends up, being like some kind of, Cole Young jersey that catches my eye, and, obviously I don't have any money to really buy anything, let alone food or a jersey. It is nice to know that if I, see something, that he'll definitely just grab it, and not even a question or a hesitation. And again, there's a reason why he is my best friend and has been for a long time. All right, we got Julio at first base. Bottom of the first, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. Urania on the mound for Dominic Canzone. Shout out to our female audience, as well as all of our new subs, as well as all of our OG subs, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Urania to Dominic Canzone. Yeah, and again, it's like, one of those individuals that, I could call at any time of the day, any time at night. If I need something, there isn't any guilt trip. There isn't any timeline where you got to pay me back in a week or we're not friends kind of thing. Like, he understands what I'm doing for work. We have been friends for a long time. We've worked together on phone sales for Verizon Business back in the day. So it's like, we're very, very tight. We both have the same teams that we root for. And it's just nice to be able to have someone like that in your life. And, that hits Julio Rodriguez in the back. Go, Julio, go! Go, Julio! Go, Julio! And Julio Rodriguez running hard to second base, and they were going to get a double play on the Mariners, and luckily it hits Julio in the back, and Julio is safe at third base. Unbelievable. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And normally this is a double play, and it's not like Julio, is outside the base path. He got hit in the back of the head. I thought he got hit in the back, but he gets hit right in the back of the batting helmet. Luckily, he was wearing it, and it didn't fall off. Otherwise, he might have went down with an injury with a little mini concussion. But the hard hat is on for a reason, and he's laughing about it. And instead of a double play inning over, now we have runners at first and third, and we're going to have a chance to get on the board early. Let's go. It's always good to be a little bit lucky. Oh, awesome. And that's who we're going to go see pitch on the 4th of July. Logan Gilbert and Emerson Hancock on the piggyback. And that's a pretty good, obviously Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu would probably be at the top for me, but I've seen almost every pitcher, through the Mariners already. But Logan Gilbert and Hancock, on the piggyback, since we're going to have Castillo tomorrow, and then George Kirby, obviously, on July 5th. But most of the pitchers for the Mariners, all 6 of them have been playing pretty well as of late. So there really isn't even a weak link. Hell, even Luis Castillo, who's our worst pitcher, last start, it was one of the best of the year, and hopefully he'll be able to carry that over tomorrow when we play the Blue Jays. And they're just taking a look at Julio at third base to make sure he doesn't have a concussion or anything like that. Obviously, it hit him right in the hard hat. It didn't hit him in the neck or anything like that. So, but obviously precautionary, just making sure, Julio's okay. And anytime you can end up meeting a player and they actually acknowledge you, as long as you're not being rude, and you can end up, being polite, whether it's, just asking, for a picture or an autograph, or just to say hello and get a little fist bump and, go M's. And, it's always cool to have those type of interactions. And they got the trainers still here looking at Julio Rodriguez and just making sure they're going over all the tests, to make sure he doesn't have a concussion or anything like that. And normally when you see players that get hit when they're, going for a double play and whatnot, usually it goes towards second first and then throw to first second, right? But sometimes with these double plays lately, you'll get it at first base and then you're trying to get that second out at second, whether it's like a line drive catch or a toe tap on first, and then you throw it to second. But again, the throw hit Julio right in the back, of the head, but obviously on the batting helmet. And it's not like it was, 100-mile-an-hour throw. I mean, it was, obviously far from that, probably half of that speed, 50 to 70 miles an hour, something like that, maybe even less than that. And Julio looks like he's okay. He's tough. And again, we can't have Julio miss a game, especially, with his 7-game hit streak, obviously now going probably to 8, 9, and 10 if we can keep it going and on this rhythm. Sean in the building. What's good? First pitch. Fouled off there by Randy Arosarena. 0-1 count. Appreciate you, Sean. Yeah, unfortunate emergency vet visit for me this morning and whatnot. And, she had to have some anesthesia. And I got 3 different medications I got to give her. She's got a cone on her head that she's got to wear for 2 to 3 weeks. So obviously was not expecting a $400 vet bill this morning and her, throwing up 3 days in a row and biting her tail and acting funny. But she seems like she's doing a little bit better now, and prayers up, and again, anything that we get dono-wise today and the rest of this month will go towards that $400 vet bill. And again, I can't really worry about me, getting anything extra to enjoy myself at the game as Randy gets plunked in the shoulder by Urania. And now we got bases loaded with 1 out. And this is a good sign for the Mariners. We might actually be able to put up 1, 2, 3, 4 runs. And Randy goes down. And hopefully Randy's okay after getting hit in the shoulder. And Randy has taken over the role for Ty France for the player that gets hit the most, out of any player on the Mariners. And, it hits him right above, it looks like the elbow guard. And obviously, you got to make sure that you're wearing padding and whatnot. And again, it always sucks when you end up wearing a pad on your elbows, on, your forearms, right above your ankles. And then for whatever reason, right, you end up getting hit right outside of the pad, or above it, below it, or off to the side, and again, just not what we want to see, but hopefully Randy's okay. And normally when Randy gets plunked on the elbow or the arm, I mean, he brushes it off. He's a tough guy. He just kind of flexes it off, smiles, and then, jogs eventually to, first base. But you can tell this one is hurting him a little bit more than normal. It looked like it got him right above the elbow pad. I assume he's going to tough it out. But again, normally Randy doesn't even hesitate when he gets plunked. And sometimes when he gets plunked, in the shoulder or the elbow, it's going 100+ miles an hour, but for whatever reason, this one hit him right above the elbow pad that he wears every game. And I think that's why right here, he's a little bit hesitant. It gets him kind of on the upper bicep and whatnot. So 98-mile-an-hour pitch. Jack with $1. Thank you, man. Every dollar counts. Anything that anyone can provide, this month to go towards that $400 vet bill would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Every dollar counts. And Randy's making his way to first. And we got Angry with a $5, Chris with a $20, Captain with a $10, and Jack with a $1. Thank you. Every dollar counts. And again, anything that can be done on the Super Chat here on YouTube, Venmo, or Cash App is greatly, greatly appreciated. And again, it's not like this is the first vet visit I've had. This is the third one in 3 months. And normally I go to the vet once a year. So it's not like I have extra money budgeted, for 3 visits in 3 months for $1,100. So again, anything that can be done would be greatly appreciated because my pup is the most important thing to me in my entire life. All right, so we got bases loaded. First pitch is high and away from Urania to Naylor is high and away, 1-0 count. Little slow dribbler there by Naylor. And that looks like a double play. And the inning is over. Unfortunate there by Josh Naylor that he couldn't hit it a little bit outside of obviously the infield, and we couldn't even get 1 run there. But to be positive, Again, when you end up getting bases loaded early, that's usually a pretty good sign of a meltdown by the pitcher. So just because we didn't score there, doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to score, in the second, third, or the fourth. We'll be fine. Sean with a 20, appreciate you. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Yeah, I'm going every 4th of July we go. Lauren, who's lives in Canada, with him and his wife and kids are making the trip down, and I plan on meeting up with him. It's probably not going to be for a long period of time, but hopefully we'll be able to link up for a picture, or just be able to hang out for a few minutes before the game. But that usually is the only game now. In the past, before I had Paisley, usually I would go to 2 or 3 games a year, where we would go like to a hotel and do a back-to-back, like Friday, Saturday, and then come home Sunday. But I have to be a good dog father, and plus with all the issues with Paisley lately, I can't afford to leave her alone, and so it's really going 1 game a year, and that's kind of how it's been the last couple years, because I got to be a responsible dog father to my dog Dada Paisley. Vincent with the 20, thank you so much. Yeah, and I'd be willing to meet up with anybody on the 4th of July. If you end up coming to the game, you just got to message me, on Instagram or Twitter/X, and, we can link up at whatever section that you're at. Vincent with a 20, appreciate you. Thank you so much. First pitch from Bryce Miller to Jorge Soler. Takes a strike looking high and inside. 0-1 count. Three and 2 record with an ERA of 1.97 for Bryce Miller. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Soler. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Soler. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Soler. Thank you for all the support. It really does mean a lot. I mean, I even feel kind of embarrassed bringing it up, but again, if you understand my situation, I think everyone would understand. So, because normally we're just going to do our regular dono train, and whatever we end up, getting based off the appreciation and gratitude from, the best fans, obviously for the NWSF, every dollar matters, every sub matters, every like matters, every comment matters, but when you end up having kind of a special situation, then those are the things that obviously will be coming to your guys' attention. And it usually isn't that often that something like this comes up, but this year, for whatever reason, it's come up 3 times in the last 3 months or so. And I really do appreciate y'all. Down goes Soler, and that is 1 away. First pitch in there to Wade Meckler. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Bryce Miller on the mound. Wade Meckler, left fielder for the Angels, in the box. 0-1 pitch from Miller. Low and at the knees. Slider missing. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Meckler. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. One pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Beautiful 4-seam fastball there by Bryce Miller. It's Miller time, baby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the second inning, 0-0 here early between the Angels and the Mariners. Yeah, we weren't able to score with bases loaded, but it definitely feels like we have a very good chance of sweeping this team. We got a great lineup. We got a great pitcher on the mound. We already had bases loaded. So you already know Urania is going to have a meltdown. And then once he goes out, if we can have a meltdown with their bullpen, things are looking pretty good. And then we start the series with the Blue Jays tomorrow with Castillo on the bump. And then on the 4th of July, we're going to go with the piggyback at the game that I'm going to, Logan Gilbert and Emerson Hancock. And then we got George Kirby on Sunday. So if we win today and Castillo pitches good tomorrow, 2-2 pitch, and got him. Another punch out there from Miller. There's a chance, if we play good ball, and we're hitting and we're, pitching well, that we potentially have a chance to not only win 2 out of 3 versus both teams, but maybe even a chance to sweep both. And if we go on a 6-game win streak, that could really get us going where we need to go. Things have been very up and down with our season this year, and we just want to be able to get enough wins to, get past the Rangers and solidify ourselves in first place instead of being kind of neck and neck with them. First pitch is high and away to Joe Adele, 1-0 count. We're at 61. 39 more to get to 100. Let's go. We got 206 in the room. Right hands up. Let's go, Ems. 1-0 pitch from Miller to Adele. Right down the middle. God, he is money. Nice splitter there by Bryce Miller. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the second inning. 0-0 Angels and Mariners. One pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And he did. Let's go, baby. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs, top of the second. 0-0 Angels and Mariners. And I do believe we're going to get 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits again. It feels like we might have a few home runs in this game, a few RBIs, and let's see if Miller can pitch 7-8 innings. And if that happens, we have a good chance to get the brooms out and get a sweep. And it's been a minute since we've been able to sweep anybody. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down he goes. And that is strike 3. Miller is on fire. Nice job by Bryce Miller. Michael with a tenner. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much for your generosity. Michael with a tenner. Thank you so much, Michael. All right, let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. And coincidentally, next up for the Mariners, he's on the thumbnail. It's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And let's see if Cal can get a home run today or, end up getting another RBI type of game, which he's been able to do pretty frequently as of late. Let's see if we can keep it going with the big dumper. Batting second in the 7-hole, right fielder, Mr. Hustle, Luke Raley. Great to see him in the lineup and in right field. And batting third, my favorite player on the team at the moment, second baseman, Cole Clutch Young. Try to end up. Let's go, Ems. I got a lot of love for Julio. I got a lot of love for Cal Raleigh. I love me some Canzone and Raley. But again, Cole Young and Colt Emerson, the CNC factory, the young guns. I absolutely love both of those guys. But man, Cole Young, with the offense and the defense, and then to be also, having Emerson as well. It's just a great feeling when you have so much talent, as far as, I guess guys that are even 4 or 5 years in are considered vets now. Julio and Cal are vets compared to guys like Young and Emerson. And it's just an exciting time, especially when we went on a 20-year drought just a few years back. And now to look at this, starting lineup, if you actually look at it, compared to even our 2001 team, that almost won 120 games, we're nowhere near that, win-wise, right? But if you're looking at player for player, this team has got just as much talent, as that team in 2001, if not more, player for player, but we just got to stay healthy and come together. Spokane with a 20. Thank you so much. And any, dog or cat owner understands. And, I'll do anything and everything to make sure that Paisley is kept alive and happy and healthy, even if it drains my bank account, even if it, makes things very uncomfortable for me, knowing that I got great people here, to be able to support the best way they can. It really does mean everything to me. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the second inning, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. Appreciate you, Spokane. And again, I don't know what I would do without Paisley in my life. She saved my life, more than once. And, to be able to have, that comfort and that love, that unconditional love, especially if you haven't really had that in relationships, for the most part, it ends up, being a little bit more special. And obviously not everyone can understand. Some people, obviously have boyfriends and girlfriends. Some people are married. Some people are engaged. Some people have great relationships, but also for a good majority of individuals, people have not. And to be able to have that love, from a dog or a cat, it really does go the extra distance. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Cal Raleigh on the 3-2 pitch. Hopefully he'll be able to get a hit in his next at-bat, but at least he had an impatient at-bat there. 4th of July patriotic bucket hat giveaway. I'm not really a bucket hat kind of guy, but I'm really excited about that giveaway. It'll be the first time that I'll have a Mariner bucket hat to the collection. They've done some unique ones, like the sailor cap from last season. My best friend and dad got that one. And again, the hat that I'm wearing, and usually they'll give away a hat on every 4th of July. And that's my second favorite thing to get at a Mariner game besides a bobblehead. If you end up having a bobblehead, that's always going to be my number one thing, but number 2 is definitely the hats, and the Mariners make good ones. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike, swinging high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Urania to Luke Rayleigh. Appreciate you, Spokane. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, out of play by Mr. Hustle himself, right fielder Luke Rayleigh. And let's see if Luke can get a nuke or even get on base with a single. One-two pitch. Big swing and a miss on a sweeper inside. Urania fooling Luke Rayleigh. That's unfortunate, and that is 2 away. But eventually, I know we're going to be able to get him in a tough spot. Next up, my favorite player on the team at the moment, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. He can do it all. He can defend. He can hit. Love me some Cole Clutch Young. Number 1 on the team in ribbies, believe it or not, at the moment. And again, just love everything about his game. It's great to be able to have guys that can play offense and defense. You got Cole Young, you got Colt Emerson, you got Julio Rodriguez, the kind of the standout guys at the moment, but there's quite a few of the others that are kind of getting close. But, Young kind of separates himself from everyone else, based on the runs that he saved for the Mariners at this point. He's already one of the best second basemen defensively in the league. And as he gets more mature, he'll end up being one of the better hitters, I believe, as well. He's going to be, kind of like the Julio Rodriguez version at second base. And, we've seen him make a lot of incredible plays. Yeah, he's young, he's only in his second year. Will he make errors from time to time? Of course, who doesn't? But I really love Cole Young's progression. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. So bases loaded in inning number 1, and inning number 2 having a tough time getting Urania in a tough spot. But again, I have faith that eventually good things will happen for the Mariners. Trident's up. All right, let's go to the top of the 3rd inning and see who's up next here for the Angels. Next up for the Angels in the 7-hole, second baseman Oswald Peraza. Batting second in the 8-hole, center fielder Josh Lowe. And batting third in the 9-hole, catcher Logan Ohapi. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $13 subs to go to 24,400. Less than 600 subs to go to get to 25,000. That's exciting. So only 13 subs to go to 24,400. And let's see how close we are to 100 likes as we're approaching the top of the 3rd inning. I know All Day and a few others are keeping track. We got 206 in the room, and we're at 71. We're almost there. 29 to 100. Callie in the building. What's good? And all day is keeping track of the dono train. Angry, Chris, Captain, Jack, Sean, Spokane, and Michael as well. And if there's anyone else that I ended up missing out of that, obviously I do apologize. Obviously we're going through all of these donos on the dono train. Jack, Michael, and everybody else. I appreciate you guys very, very much. All right, Robles is in center field, so it looks like Julio might be, getting, I don't think he's getting an MRI, but they don't want, I guess, they want to have him looked at. So he's going to go into the locker room and whatnot, and Victor Robles is coming in, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully Julio, is okay, but again, if he ends up having any, type of dizziness or he's not feeling okay, we don't want him to be like, I'm tough, I'm going to play, and then all of a sudden he mistimes a ball, gets hit in the head in the outfield, or he dives for a ball and then ends up having, dizziness, and then we end up giving up, a couple runs off an error. So sometimes it's a hard decision to exit a game, whether it's yourself or, the training staff saying, hey, maybe you should get looked at in the locker room. And I know Julio wanted to play, but again, we do have a very capable Victor Robles, maybe not as good of a hitter as Julio, but he can definitely defend like Julio in center. So hopefully Julio is okay. It just looks like it's precautionary, but unfortunate for the people at the game that wanted to watch more of Julio Rodriguez. But what are the chances of getting hit in the head, on a double play attempt, like 1 in a million? Doesn't happen often, but prayers up for Julio. 1-2 pitch from Miller to Peraza. And that's strike 3 looking, baby. Let's go. Call is challenged, though, by Peraza. And let's see if it ends up sticking or not. And the call is strike 3. Beautiful. Angels only have one more challenge. Down goes Peraza. And Bryce Miller's already got 5 Ks. Woo! Let's go. Tasting for 10 to 15. I like. Next up in the 8-hole center fielder, a very crafty, kind of under the radar hitter, Josh Lowe. Again, Zach Neto is going to be the main guy that we got to keep an eye on. But Josh Lowe, no matter what team he plays on, he's always one of those guys you have to kind of keep an eye on. Vincent as well. As if you scroll up, for the people that are the mods and whatnot, if I end up missing out on any names, obviously if it's not just through the super chat, anyone that's donating through Cash App or through Venmo that I type in myself, we don't want to forget about those people either. Appreciate you all day. Like Michael and Vincent and everyone else. Thank you guys so much. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Lowe. Yeah, he played an inning after getting hit in the head, but they just put Victor Robles in center field, and you saw Julio walk into the locker room. And that goes to Victor Robles back at the warning track. And I got full confidence in Victor Robles defensively. Obviously not as good of a hitter, but if Victor can get walked once, maybe bunt, you never know. You might end up getting a single or a double out of Robles. You never really expect him to homer. But again, defensively, I feel very comfortable with Victor Robles. And then hopefully Julio will be ready to go, tomorrow when we play the Blue Jays, because we're definitely going to need him. But it seemed like he was okay. The training staff, did the concussion test. He passed, but again, it looks like, it was either Julio, maybe getting a little dizzy, or the training staff says, just, do this for us, just be a precautionary. I know you want to play, but, we want to make sure we're looking at your, long-term health and longevity of the season. And, hopefully it's all good, and whatnot. At the very least, if he has a concussion, I would, or like a mini concussion. I don't even think it's really a concussion, but you would assume the most that he would miss is like one game, because it wasn't anything serious where he got plunked in the head and he went down and was like writhing in pain. If that would have happened, then I was like, oh God, then he might be out for a couple games. But, based on the hard hat, having some good padding, I assume he'll miss the rest of this game. And then we should hopefully see him in the lineup tomorrow. And if we don't see him in the lineup tomorrow, I would assume that 4th of July game, Julio will be there. At least I'm hoping so, because I would love to see Julio play. So, but look precautionary to me because he was smiling the whole time they were checking him out and everything. And he even played an inning after. So I think it was just precautionary. 1-2 pitch. Little dribbler up to middle to Miller. Underhand throw. Josh Naylor is there. And that is out number 3. Good defense there by Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller with a no-hitter so far. Angels with an error. And again, it's about time that we get on the board, especially after having bases loaded. Sometimes you just got to be patient. And I got to get the Victor Robles photo prepped here too. All right, next up for the Mariners in the 9-hole shortstop, Colt Emerson, the phenom. Love him. Batting second, playing his 1,000th game in his career, 927 with Seattle. That's 10th on the Mariner all-time list. Bring him back next year. I love him. J.P. Crawford. If he doesn't start, that's okay. He can always end up, providing some depth. And knowing how many injuries we've had this year, there's a pretty good chance that there'll be injuries next year. Hopefully not as many. And J.P. can definitely be a guy that fills in. And he might be the best backup in baseball as far as a guy that's not a starter that can still play like a starter. And would be a starter for a good chunk of teams that are playing out there today. And batting third, filling in for Julio Rodriguez, just precautionary after getting hit in the head on a double play attempt by the Angels. Center fielder for the moment, Victor Robles. Right hands up, let's go M's. Yeah, I'm surprised they took him out too. But again, normally when that happens, it's not necessarily just the player, unless he started feeling dizzy. And you don't want to be a liability, thinking like, I know I want to be out here and whatnot. But, all it takes is like, one big play. And then all of a sudden with like a couple guys on board and he misses a ball and dives for it wrong. And then all of a sudden we're down 3-0. And then on top of that, he has to exit after that, and then we might not come back. So, to be able to, exit the game while the game is still 0-0, not having a costly error or injuring himself further, I assume it was more the trainers, but again, it didn't look like it was anything serious. I mean, I've seen guys got hit in the head with no batting helmet, just like, ball to head or ball to cap, and it didn't look that bad. I've seen much, much worse. And they hit him on the top part of the batting helmet, so there's good cushion there. But still probably vibrated a little bit and was a little probably uncomfortable for Julio. 0-2 pitch popped up. And that is one away. Lowe is out there in center field. Futures game with Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan. Love those pitchers. Can't wait to see them in our bullpen, helping our team out. And eventually, you may see those guys a part of our starting rotation in the future. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. J.P. Crawford, ice water in his veins, the most patient hitter on the team besides Dominic Canzone. And we've actually seen some of the other players, kind of take that to heart and be more like JP and Dom and take pitches. Now we still see, Julio and Randy and Naylor and Cal more times than not, be overly aggressive, even Luke Raley. But again, nice to be able to see at least a couple of the guys, Young and Emerson, JP and Dom, for the most part, being a little bit more patient when they can be. And a hard hit ball in the center. Wow, what a catch. And Lowe again with the underhand catch. And it's not cockiness, it's confidence. Great defense out there by Lowe, and that is 2 up and 2 down. Next up in the 2-hole, filling in for Julio, center fielder Victor Robles. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Hawks in the building, what's good? First pitch from Urania to Robles, takes a strike looking with a sweeper, 84 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes from Urania to Robles. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 0-0, Angels and Mariners. I'm not worried one bit. We've already won the series. I think we are going to win this game and get the brooms out and sweep them, and hopefully that'll carry over as Robles gets hit. And again, Urania not only hitting Randy Arozarena, now hitting Victor Robles. And now Robles making his way to first, and he's squinting a little bit. And the last thing that we need is now Robles to be injured. And again, the Angels are, and he gets hit right on the wrist, no padding there. And you see his arm kind of move and vibrate awkwardly. I hope Victor is okay. And it's one thing if you get hit in the elbow where the pad is, but when you get hit in the inside part of your wrist, and the left arm is in front and the right arm is in the back. Now Victor is on 2 knees and he's not crying, but you can tell that really hurt. I hope that nothing is broken. Because again, we've already had so many fucking injuries, and the last thing that we need is a pitcher to injure our guys. And we obviously don't. We have beef with this team. If we were gonna fight anybody in the division, the Angels are towards the top. We've fought them before. So it's not like we wouldn't fight them again. If they ended up causing an issue. We obviously hate the Astros probably the most. But we still have rivalries with the Rangers and the Athletics. But it kind of feels like if we were going to get into a scrap, it would definitely be Astros and Angels at the top. Rangers and Athletics, not so much, unless they deserved it. But again, we definitely have some, bad blood, with this team in the past. But we haven't really had any really bad blood for a few years where we actually had to throw some punches and whatnot. But I'm hoping Victor Robles is okay. I mean, we already just lost Julio Rodriguez maybe to a concussion, and now the replacement gets hit on the wrist, and Victor is trying to tough it out. And we got Young, the first base coach, talking to him. The trainers are out there. And again, we are the most beat up team in baseball this season. There's no team that's had as many injuries to star players and backups than us. And we're just starting to get healthy besides Brandon Donovan. The last thing that we need is Julio and Robles to be injured. So, not JT in the building. What's good? This morning, she threw up now for the 3rd day in a row and was biting her tail and acting kind of funny. And so I had to take her to the emergency, vet today. And it's the 3rd time in 3 months. So $1,100 later in 3 vet visits. So anything that we can obviously get dono-wise here for the whole month, we'll go towards that. And, I am going to the game on the 4th of July, but obviously with something like that happening, I, can't really buy anything out of the ordinary, which I probably wouldn't anyways. Little slow dribbler towards 3rd, throw to 1st, and that is out number 3 on Dominic Canzone. But, she had to have some anesthesia, and they gave me 3 different medications, for anti-itch and all this other stuff that she has to take. She's got a cone on, and normally I budget, for 1 vet visit a year, and that first visit was, close to $500. And then the second visit was like a month after, and she had her first ear infection in her life. And so then I had to take her there, and then that was a couple $100. And then that was just like last month, and then had to go back again after, some complications with that and get more medication. And then I thought, okay, hopefully she's done. And then obviously, throwing up 3 days in a row, that was, obviously enough for me, on top of her biting her tail and just acting not normal. and whatnot. So when I called them this morning, they said that they didn't have an appointment until the 15th. I was like, she's already not doing good. I can't wait that long, and I'm going to the game here in a couple days. I need to make sure that, my baby is okay. And luckily they said if I dropped her off and left her there, that the doctors would squeeze her in between appointments, thankfully. And I was able, to squeeze her in early this morning and dropped her off around 9:30. And then I was able to pick her up around 2:30. And, she's still kind of on the anesthesia and whatnot. And, $400 later, she's now home. But obviously, anyone that has to have that happen, if you have a dog or a cat, you understand if you've ever had an issue like that. But I've never had this many things go wrong in a short period of time with her. So, it definitely is hurting the pocketbook, to say the least. So anything that can be done, this month, including this stream today and everything in July, will go towards that. And then again, if I need something at the game, my best friend will cover. I'm not worried about that. And he's so cool that even if it was something as expensive as a jersey, not even in a blink of an eye, he'd just grab it for me. No questions asked, no timeline to pay back. We're best friends, and even if that means that I got to pay him back, towards Thanksgiving or Christmas, if it comes to that, he's my best friend for a reason. So I don't have any plans on buying a jersey, or anything, but it's just great to know that you have good people in your life. First pitch from Miller to Neto, big swing and a miss, low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Canzone is DHing right now, so we don't have him available. I mean, in general, he could play outfield. We have Weston Wilson, who came up big, as that's popped up into right to Luke Rayleigh, and that's one away. So we got a few options, of guys, but, hopefully the injuries and some of these little minor hiccups will be all right. They do say things come in threes, but usually it's like good things, like collectibles, and also bad things. I guess people passing away, right? They do come in threes, like celebrities and whatnot. So, but first pitch in there to Nolan Shonowell is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Top of the fourth inning, 0-0, Angels and Mariners. No hitters for both so far, even though Urania had bases loaded, but we weren't able to capitalize. Naylor hit into a slow dribbler up the middle. But I do feel confident we can still get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if not 5, maybe 3 to 4. Little slow dribbler up the middle, throw to first. But Miller is on one. And if Miller can go 7 or 8 innings, even if we only end up winning 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, or like 3-1, I don't think any Mariner fan will complain at that point, even though we have been able to get over the 4-run number in the last 3 games in a row. It's nice to get to 4 and then 6 and then 8. So natural progression would be 10 today, but we're not going to get there. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, my next 2 jerseys, once I can afford, to get one, it would be Cole Young first, and then Emerson would be after that. Because I already got Griffey. I already got a couple Griffies. I already got Cal. I already got Julio. So obviously Young would be my next, and then Emerson after that. Got to get the young guns. Little slow dribbler towards third. JP is there. Give me a good throw. High throw from Naylor. Jesus Christ, JP. And that's why we need Brandon Donovan back. Donnie has been working out with the team, but still a few weeks away. And an error there by JP Crawford. And I don't know, man. It's like you can throw a certain way at shortstop, but JP has this tendency of not being able to throw correctly to Naylor, and it's frustrating. Because Naylor is a big guy and he's pretty athletic. So all you got to do is get it kind of in his area and he'll bail you out. But even with that being said, JP Crawford has this tendency of doing these stupid ass sidearm throws. And a lot of times they end up going over or under the first baseman's glove. And JP with another error. And I like the patience in the box, but God, defensively, he just doesn't have it this year. But I still would want him on the team as a backup for next year. But I would hope that he'd clean up some of these problems that he's having. Because, he was having throwing errors at fucking shortstop. And third base is a lot farther. So, but again, with all the injuries that we have, we don't really have any other options unless they recall Miles Mastroboni from AAA. He can make the throw. And, I think I would rather have Mastroboni at third Maybe not as good of a hitter as JP, game in and game out, but a hell of a lot better of a defender. And, they still have Pareda and Mastroboni in AAA, and we could use those guys, but again, we're going to have to wait for like an injury for Garver for Pareda to get called up, and then another injury to some other player for Mastroboni to come back on the team. But, we got to do what we got to do, I guess. But I guess not every player, is going to be great on offense and defense. Not everybody can be a Cole Young or a Julio Rodriguez or a Colt Emerson. So, but definitely frustrating with JP and these errors and whatnot. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Jorge Soler. One-two pitch. Popped up and out of play. Yeah, but, ear infections, not ideal, and then, having to have anesthesia done and, having the cone and biting her tail and throwing up and having all these other things going on. It's just, and I was a little worried, that she had like some fleas or ticks or some kind of like terrible thing, but luckily it sounds like that wasn't the case. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Jorge Soler, and Bryce Miller is wheeling and dealing, baby. Bryce Miller with 6 Ks, 4 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, key stat, no walks, 6 Ks, and he's only at 46 pitches. Bryce might go 8 innings today. Hell, he might go all 9. 1.81 ERA. Great job by Bryce, but we need the offense to wake up. Do it for Paisley, Mariners. Do it for Paisley. Next up in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena, who ended up getting plunked earlier in this game. Batting second, 0 for 1. First baseman Josh Naylor, who hit into a little line drive up the middle when we had bases loaded. Otherwise, we would be up right now, 1-2-3-0, more than likely. So hopefully Josh will make up for it. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 13 subs to go to 24,400. And we gained another sub moments ago. Thank you so much. And we're inching closer and closer to getting to 25,000 subs, which is going to be a great day for me. I put a lot of time and energy and passion into this channel. I've been streaming for 14 years. I've been on YouTube for 10, and we're less than 600 subs away, from 25,000. And then next goal would be 50,000, and then 75,000, and long-term goal 100,000. But again, I know I can get there because I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and it's time to get on the board. And with 220 in the room, we should be over 100 likes by now. And we're at 95. Can we get 5 people to hit the like button out of the 220? We need 5 people to hit the like button out of 220, and we'll be at 100. And then once we hit 100, we should have a good chance to get close to 200. So I mean, I appreciated, what Polo and Gino brought, to the roster, but based off their age and the contract and the money, obviously it's not really a fit anymore. And also Gino's defense wasn't as good as it was the first time around. His metrics and analytics, obviously were lower. But with that said, he would at least be able to make the throws to Naylor, and he wouldn't have errors. So to a certain degree, yeah, I think we all miss Gino. Polo, wasn't very good in his first year, but then had some really big games for us last year, like in the ALDS Game 5 against Skubal, right, with the big home run and whatnot. But, I think overall, Gino, good vibes only, right? He would strike out a lot, and his numbers on defense were kind of going, in the opposite direction. But as far as home run hitter, yeah, he would strike out a lot, but he is one of those rare guys that could, hit 30, 40, 50 home runs and have a positive attitude. So, and he would make everyone on the team, kind of uplift them, even when they were maybe down on themselves. And you can't really teach that, that's something that comes inside. And, I always appreciate good vibes only. 0-2 pitch, low and away to Randy Arozarena. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Urania to Arozarena. Do it for Paisley, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Urania to Rosarina. And after Urania had bases loaded, with hitting guys and walking guys, he hasn't given up a hit. So obviously he's been locked in, and we should be able to take advantage. It's not like he's a lefty, but we haven't been able to find the rhythm yet. But Randy's gotten hit, right? Robles got hit, and then Julio got hit in the back of the head on a double play attempt. So, I don't know if that's their strategy on how to beat us. They just keep injuring our guys, but, whether it's on purpose or not, as that pitch almost hits Randy again in the leg, he has to move out of the way. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Urania to Rosarina, but it's not like we have bad history with Urania. So just kind of unfortunate that he ended up plunking a couple of our guys, especially when it's not on the padding, it's on the skin, and on the bone. 3-2 pitch, little blooper, and caught in right field by Joe Adele, and that is 1 away. We need to start bunting. We haven't been able to manufacture any home runs or hits yet. So anytime that happens, usually you got to be able to think outside the box, and dropping a bunt down usually can help that. Next up is Josh Naylor. On deck is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And on the mound, Walbert Urania, 5-6 record, ERA of 3.14. So it's just a matter of time before we rough him up, you would think. Bottom of the 4th inning, 0-0, Angels and Mariners. 0-1 pitch, a little dribbler up the middle. Throw to first. And just in time with that leg stretch there from Shawnoel. And again, Naylor just not being able to get anything past the infield yet. And that is 2 away. All right, baby. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's see if we can get a Cal Raleigh solo dinger to get us on the board. 1-0. First pitch to Cal, big swing and a miss. Change up, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Cal. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Urania to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Urania on the mound, big dumper in the box. Let's go, Cal. Love the City Connect uniforms. Love the batting helmet because it reminds me of the Ken Griffey Jr. era, which I have a batting helmet when I was 7 years old in Griffey's rookie year here in the studio. Obviously, instead of the M and the trident, it's got the yellow S. Obviously, love the jersey colors. I know when they first debuted, a lot of us were not very sure about the pants, and because it's not anything that we've ever seen before, but I really like the look. 1-2 pitch, tries to jam him and does. Fouled off into left field, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Urania to big dumper at Cal Raleigh. And I think as far as like City Connects are concerned, we have one of the more stylish City Connect uniforms in baseball. I love it. 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. On deck is Mr. Hustle, Luke Raley. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Urania fooling big dumper, and we're just not able to get anything going just yet for whatever reason. No runs, no hits, and an error for the Angels. No runs, no hits, and an error by J.P. Crawford. Weird, and after, dominating in game 1 and game 2, we did have a day off, and we did see Team USA win yesterday, but then we saw the best player get a red card and not being available in the round of 16, our best player, which is not ideal and whatnot, but congratulations to Team USA, and maybe just having the day off, in between, maybe messed up a little bit of the rhythm, winning 6-2 and 8-3, but I still believe that we can end up getting a few runs and winning this game, and Bryce is already at 6 Ks at 46 pitches, so Bryce is going to do his job, and we just have to make sure at some point we mess up Urania, and then once they pull him, then eventually we can mess, and kind of beat up the bullpen. He's at 4 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and he's at 60 pitches, Urania, with 39 strikes. Yeah, but also this season, Cal has been hurt multiple times, so, he got a little overworked. All right, Paisley's in here, and I think she wants to say hello, even though she's not doing too well. I guess she wants food. She's giving me the look. Because normally she's good to go and she'll say hello, but looks like she wants some food, so I'm going to have to go grab her something here in a second. So I'm going to go grab something here in just a moment for her. And now we have another change in the outfield. Weston Wilson now. We only got 2 guys left on the bench. Yeah, but again, she's had to wear it, multiple times this year already. So it looks like Robles is out. So Julio's out, Robles is out, and now Weston Wilson in. Golly, we only have 2 guys left. And a line drive there to Naylor, and that is 1 away. Yeah, but she was really out of it when I picked her up, moaning and whining and not knowing where she was. And, at least now, and she didn't have really an appetite or anything. And wasn't eating or drinking, but after the anesthesia kind of wore off, what a catch there by Naylor, kind of tipping it to himself, which he's done a couple times this season. Great job there by Josh Naylor. And that is 1 away. First pitch, big swing and a miss there to Joe Adele, 0-1 count. But normally, when she was younger, she would let me, hold her on stream, and she'd be, just kind of calm and look at everybody for even a couple minutes, maybe even all the way up for, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then it kind of went from that to like 1 or 2 minutes. And then it went from like 1 minute. And then now it's like, maybe 10 to 45 seconds. And then she usually wants to wiggle away and kind of go on the ground and whatnot and walk around. So 1-1 pitch and a hard hit ball from Joe Adele in right field, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Adele. Top of the 5th inning, nobody on with 1 out, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. So it looks like Randy is in center, and then they got Weston Wilson in right, and then Randy is in left. So Julio has left the game, and Robles has left the game. Hopefully Randy won't exit as well. 1-2 pitch to Joe Adele, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 5th inning, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. Bryce Miller on the mound. Joe Adele in the box. 2-2 pitch. Pop back to the T-Mobile bricks. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Joe Adele. I mean, we've had so many injuries this season, and again, we want to make sure that we have some healthy bodies for that Blue Jay series starting tomorrow. 2-2 pitch, and that is popped up. Rayleigh's in center now, and that is 2 away. Good job there by Luke Rayleigh. And I'm going to get you some food in just a second, Paisley. I got to wait for this one last out, and then we'll be able to get her a snack. It's like she's getting her appetite back, which is good. Next up in the 7-hole, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman Oswald Peraza. Miller on the mound, Peraza in the box. And Peraza pops it up. Should be an easy out here for Josh Naylor at first. And that is out number 3. All right, so we're going to go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and we'll see who's up next here for the Mariners, and hopefully we can get on the board. I'm going to go get Paisley a snack since, she's fresh off from coming from the vet and, starting to not be great, but getting a little bit closer to where she needs to be. All right, got Paisley a snack, starting to get a little bit of her appetite with all the medication that she's on. And it's time for us to get on the board. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. He's retiring after this season, so we dedicate every stream to one of my favorites of all time, besides Dave Niehaus, of course, Rick Riz. We love you. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 13 subs to go to 24,400. And we should be over 100 likes by now. And every dono that we get on this stream, as well as every stream this month, will go towards the emergency vet bill that I had to get today. Obviously, and anytime you end up going to the vet, it's usually $200 to $500, and it was a $400 vet bill today. So anything that can be done by anybody would be greatly appreciated. All right, we're at 118 likes. $82 to $200. And we're going to be neck and neck with the Rangers. We just got to take care of our own business, and eventually we'll be back in first place. But again, we're going to be right there neck and neck with them. And the Astros have started to creep up a little bit. The Athletics have gone in the opposite direction. And obviously the Angels are at the bottom, but they always play us well. So kind of like the Royals, even if the record is shitty by the Angels and Royals, they always play us well. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss there by Luke Raley. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Urania to Raley. Come on, Luke. We need a nuke. Come on, Luke. 1-2 pitch, a little dribbler up the middle. Throw to first. And that is 1 away. And we just can't get anything in the infield. It's just tough today. Next up, my favorite player on the team at the moment, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, baby. Look at the ranks for Cole Young. Third, second, first, and it's only his second year. He's got the most saved runs out of any second baseman, in the American League, and he's one of those top guys. And again, he just needs to be able to keep getting better in the box. And again, he's already one of the best defensive second basemen already in his second year. And then once he gets that offensive going, then there will be no denying him, not only Gold Gloves, but also All-Star game appearances. As he pops up, though, unfortunately there, and that is 2 away. Got some Paisley's hair there on the mic. Next up in the 9-hole, shortstop Colt Emerson. Let's go, Colt. Another player that I absolutely love. I have the same kind of vibes that I did when Julio and Cal first came to our team in 2022. I have that same type of love and vibe for Cole and Colt here in 2026. First pitch, takes a strike, looking with a changeup right down the middle from Urania, 0-1 count. Come on, Colt. Somebody's got to get things going here for the Mariners, especially with all these injuries that we've had today. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to the phenom, Colt Emerson. One pitch, high and inside, sinker, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Urania to Emerson. One-two pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball missing there by Urania. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Colt Emerson. Let's go, Colt. All day is back, my boy. How are you? 2-2 pitch. And a little dribbler towards first and foul. And again, we just haven't been able to get anything going, on Urania. They haven't been able to get anything on Miller. Obviously, Miller is the better pitcher of the two. But again, we haven't bunted. And sometimes you got to do something unorthodox and outside the box. And again, we just may have to wait, for Urania to exit and then beat up their bullpen, hopefully. Little dribbler towards third, throw to first, and that is out number 3. And almost every single hit for the Mariners has been slow dribblers in the infield, and we haven't been able to get anything into the outfield to drop in between the gaps. We've been plunked. We've been hit in the head. We've been hit in the arm and the wrist. We've had injuries to, Julio and Victor Robles. Randy got hit in the elbow. So, and obviously that's probably affected, some of their swings. And obviously now Julio and Victor are out of the game. Randy's in the game, but I don't know if Randy's going to be able to get a hit after, what happened with his elbow, but he's trying. And hopefully once Urania exits, whoever's bullpen is better, we'll end up winning this game 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, something of that nature. And hopefully we'll end up having our good bullpen guys out there instead of throwing out AAA guys. Because if we throw out some AAA guys, it could be tough. But based off the pitch count with Bryce, hell, he might be able to pitch this whole game or go 8 innings. He's at 55 pitches, and we're in the 6th inning. So if it keeps on this pace, as Urania's at 72, Bryce might be able to pitch this whole game. And if he's able to pitch this whole game and not have a meltdown, we're going to win. It may only be 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1. But I like our chances as long as Bryce can keep pitching like this. But gotta try to do something different. And if that means bunting with a couple guys, they need to do it. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th inning and see who's up next. Next up for the Angels, 0-for-1 center fielder in the 8-hole, Josh Lowe. Batting second, 0-for-1 in the 9-hole, catcher Logan O'Hoppe. And batting third, leadoff hitter, shortstop Zach Neto. Both teams have a no-hitter. Both teams have an error. And that's where we're at. It's a kind of an unusual game after scoring 4, 6, and 8 runs in the last 3 games. I do think the World Cup USA win and having this game, you missed a day in between is a part of the reason why both of these teams are, obviously Miller, we know, can do this, but I think the Mariner bats have been affected, after that day off in between the series. Because I think if we would have played yesterday, I don't think the same result would be 0-0 in the 6th inning. I do think we would have had a couple runs by now. And if Naylor would have been able to get a hit on that bases loaded, we would have, but just because you got bases loaded doesn't mean you're going to cash in every time. Hell, we know in that one game against Pittsburgh, we had 3 bases loaded and we didn't get anything. So sometimes it's just bad luck. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Lowe. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Hard hit ball in the right. There we go. Great job there by Weston Wilson bailing out Lowe there in right field. Thank you so much. Well, I had to take her to the vet today, emergency vet, for $400. So, again, treats and anything going towards that vet bill would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. Another $5 holla from Uni Boy. Appreciate you. And there hasn't even been a moment where we even doubted that Miller was having a meltdown. there hasn't been anybody on base, right? I mean, he doesn't even have any walks. He hasn't hit anybody. So he has been as clean can be. He's at a 1.76 ERA. He's been our best pitcher this season. And normally, when you have an injury, you suck for like a month or two before you find your rhythm. But Bryce got better after his injury, and he's actually throwing velocity even better than he has in his early career. It's kind of odd, to see someone be this much better after an injury. But whatever he did in his rehab process, it fucking worked. And now Bryce is the best guy. But we are starting to get the others caught up to him. And that's a good thing to see. We want to see all our 6 guys, even Castillo, pitching well. And Castillo's last start, he was awesome, right? Gilbert and Hancock, for the most part, as of late have been getting better. And even Wu and Kirby, guys that normally were at the bottom now are kind of turning into the Wu and Kirby that we all know and love, pitching like they're at the top of the pitching staff with Miller. So everything is starting to kind of come into play. We still have some weaknesses in the bullpen. There's no doubt about that. But again, we've got to be able to find a way to get some hits. But Bryce looks great here so far. 1-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Splitter 84 miles an hour there by Bryce Miller. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Logan O'Hoppe. Let's go, Bryce. Blue Jay in the building. What's good? 1-2 pitch. And that's strike 3 looking. I don't know if they'll challenge that. That looked like it was a little outside, but let's just see if it gets a touch of the corner. O'Hoppe is challenging. Woo! Just the corner, baby. No more challenges for the Angels. I like that. And this is one of the more dominant performances we've seen out of Bryce Miller. No walks. He hasn't plunked anybody like Urania. And again, he's got a no-hitter. Angels are 0 for 2 in challenges. We haven't even challenged anybody yet today. When's the last time that the Mariners didn't even challenge 1 pitch through 6 innings? I can't remember. It's been a while. First pitch fouled off behind the plate to Zach Neto. 0-1 count. Miller on the mound. It's Miller time, baby. Zach Neto in the box, and Neto is taking the Mike Trout role. Anytime Mike Trout has an injury, whether it's minor or major, he's the guy that really sets the tone. To me, he's the most dangerous hitter on the team besides Lowe. And then every once in a blue moon, Joe Adell will do something. But we all remember the Joe Adell game when we lost 1-0 and hit 3 home runs and he robbed 3, which was not ideal. But hopefully that never happens to us ever again. Top of the 6th inning, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. Bryce Miller on the mound. Zach Neto in the box. 0-2 pitch, low and into the dirt. Cal is just calling a hell of a game for Bryce today. I mean, again, such a dominant performance here. That one hard hit ball all the way back to the wall moments ago by Lowe was probably the closest that we thought, something might have happened. But luckily it dropped and we ended up getting the out. But that was the only play that's made us a little nervous today. And that's pretty amazing if you think about it. He hasn't plunked anybody like Urania. He hasn't walked anybody. He's got a no-hitter. Yeah, we got a throwing error by JP, but what's new? He's been doing that all year, and maybe Bryce will go the whole game. What if this is the game that Bryce Miller gets a no-hitter? I mean, even if we only win 1-0, fuck it. This could be a real big day. It's not like no-hitters come that often. Still got a ways to go, but his pitch count is low enough. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Or even if he pitches 8 innings and then we can bring in Mooney and then that's it. And we don't have to use any of our pitchers and we can save them for the Blue Jay series. We're going to need to. But again, I really like the way that Wu has pitched lately. Kirby has pitched lately. Gilbert and Hancock and even fucking Castillo lately has been great. 2-2 pitch, a little slow dribbler there. Emerson on the run, throw to first. Got him. Let's go. Bryce Miller with a no-hitter. And nothing would be sweeter, right? After having to drop $400, on a vet bill, emergency vet for Paisley, and then all of a sudden we get a no-hitter out of Bryce Miller. It'll be a day that I will never, ever forget. And again, obviously with something bad, happening, it would be really sweet for something great to happen on the same day. All right, next up, 0 for 2. Time to drop a bunt down in his 1,000th game, 927 with the Mariners, believe it or not. That's 10th all time. You have too many errors for my liking, but I still think you deserve to come back to the team next year, Jay Crawford. Now, we had Julio in the 2-hole. Then we had Victor in the 2-hole. Now we have Weston Wilson. So got a lot of guys get either hit by a pitch or Julio got hit in the head on a double play and had to exit the game. Kind of a weird thing to say, but he actually played an inning after getting hit in the head as he was running to second base, but precautionary, I guess. And then we got JP Crawford leading off. We got Weston Wilson batting second. He had a big RBI day, obviously in the last game there. And then batting third, 0 for 2, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And we need that bat to come alive, Dom. Let's go. And we haven't dropped any bunts yet. Something's got to give. Nobody practices bunting defense. Yeah, we've had a few really nice draft picks for the Kraken in the last few years. If you go and look at their roster, they're getting better. It's not like the Kraken are going to make the playoffs in the NHL, every year, but you're starting to see, a little steps. They're not going to be like the Vegas Golden Knights, or anything like that in the West. And you got the Dallas Stars and all these other, Colorado Avalanche. You got all these teams that are very competitive. But again, the Kraken are fun to watch. I've never been to a game yet, but I definitely plan on going with my best friend at some point in the next few years. First pitch takes a strike, looking low and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball by JP, and in the gap, let's go! Let's go! Finally a hit. It's not a home run, but a double for JP Crawford, baby. Let's go. First hit of the game by J.P. Crawford. He said, you know what? I had an error earlier today, and I'm embarrassed about it. And he's got, I got ice water in my veins. I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to get a double right here. And look at that. Way to bring the electricity, J.P. Crawford. All right, let's see if Weston Wilson can continue his hot streak, after getting a hit and an RBI in his last game. Let's see if Weston Wilson, out of all people, can end up knocking J.P. home. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Thank you, love. And Weston Wilson, look at that, drops a bunt down. It ends up going foul, but at least they're listening, I think it's like if you just understand baseball, whether you played in Little League or you played in high school or college, or even if you didn't play at all and you just watch the game closely, there's certain things that you can do to win a game when you haven't done things yet. And bunting is one of those things. You can end up getting a single or a double off a bunt, especially if that throw is wild the first. And everyone runs around with like their, chicken with their head cut off when a bunt comes to them. If you notice, pitchers, shortstop, second basemen, third basemen, they freak out. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Weston Wilson. And the reason why everyone freaks out when someone bunts is because nobody practices bunting defense. And then, it's like you have to hurry. And then not only that, you don't really have time to set your feet. So you're throwing on the run, and then you just got to hope it gets to the first baseman. And then sometimes the first baseman will drop it, or it'll go over his head or underneath. And, and then if you're running fast, you can turn a bunt to a double. But nobody thinks that in the box. They don't think, oh, I'm going to be safe on this, or, you're maybe thinking I'm going to move the runner over, but, you're not thinking I'm going to get a single or double off a bunt. But it's all about mindset in baseball. You have to believe and you can make it happen, especially if you're a good bunter. 2-2 pitch, and that gets fouled back to the T-Mobile bricks by Weston Wilson. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. 0-0 Angels and Mariners, but I have a feeling that we are going to score this inning. And shout out to all individuals that have smashed the like button, all the individuals that have donated on the dono train, and every dono on this stream and every dono this month go towards the emergency vet visit that I had to take this morning with Paisley. 3rd vet visit in 3 months, $1,100 in 3 months, and I don't care if you're rich or poor, and I'm definitely on the latter part of that, more in the poor end. That definitely is not what I was expecting. but I love her, and I want to make sure that she's okay. And if that means me, being broke, then I guess that's what, is going to happen until things, kind of even themselves out. So pitches low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Weston Wilson. Let's see if Wilson can draw a walk here, unless he's lucky enough to get a single. I mean, if I was, like a millionaire, no big deal, but again, I usually budget 1 vet visit a year, for the annual checkup. And, 3 times in 3 months is just crazy. It never happened to me before. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Wilson, and that is 1 away. But 1 was the annual, but then she had like vaccines and things that she needed to get done from a couple years ago. So that ended up being like over $400, close to $500. Then she had an ear infection for the very first time. And then I had to go back and get more medication to have a follow-up. And then she ended up throwing up 3 days in a row this morning on the 3rd day, biting her tail for the last few days and acting weird. And they had to, put her under and, do some tests and everything. And $400 later, she's got a cone on her head, 3 different medications, and she's going to live. She's young, she's only 4.5. She'll be 5 in, late summer, but it's scary. And I'm just happy that she's okay at this point. But definitely the pocketbook is hurting. And I'm going to the Mariner game, the only game I'm going to get to go to all year on Saturday. So that was a little nerve-wracking. I don't have any money to spend at the game, but my best friend will cover, so I don't have to worry there. But, it would have been nice to have some extra money just in case, like, ooh, a Cole Young jersey, cool. A Colt Emerson jersey, awesome, and just to have that option. But I guess I still have that option with my best friend, but, it's a little bit nicer when you don't have to rely on anyone except for yourself, but sometimes things are out of your control. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at second. JP Crawford, Dominic Canzone. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Good at bat there for Dom. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Mike in the building. What's good? Come on, Dom. 3-1 pitch. Takes a strike, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 0-0 Angels and Mariners. And he got the 2 most patient hitters on the team. JP got a double. Let's see if Dom can force the walk or get a hit here. 3-2 pitch. There we go. That's my boy. And that's why I really appreciate Dominic Canzone, the Italian Stallion, and JP Crawford, because when things are going bad, you can always count on them to work the count to be able to get a big hit or potentially get a big walk like Dominic Canzone did. Now we have runners at first and second with 1 out. But now we got to hope no double plays, and Randy Arozarena, after getting hit in the elbow, can find a way to get a single, double, triple, or home run, or to get a walk himself. And then now they're having a mound visit, and then we have Josh Naylor on deck. So something's got to give, and sometimes we, don't have the most faith in Randy and Naylor, being able to come up with a clutch hit compared to maybe some other guys on the team. So, but again, right now, Bryce Miller with a no-hitter. Bryce Miller pacing to pitch the whole game, or at least into the 8th inning. He's only at 69 pitches, so he could go 8, maybe even 9, but probably 8, and then maybe bring in Mooney. But we got to get a lead, for Mooney to come in. So. And first pitch is a hard hit ball, low and away. Change up, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Let's go. Try to sub. Let's go, M's. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. We had bases loaded in the first inning. Naylor hit into a ground ball up the middle, and that was it. But since then, we haven't had a chance really to get anything going. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Urena to Randy Arozarena. Mariner Moose is out, so that means good things is going to happen. Now, let's go. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Urania having a meltdown. 3 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arosarena. Don't swing, Randy. Take the walk. And then we can get bases loaded for Naylor, and hopefully he'll be able to cash in this time around. Come on, Randy. Take the walk if it's not there. Naylor on deck. Bottom of the 6th. Runners at first and second with 1 out. JP at second. Dom at first. JP with a double. Dom with a walk. On deck is Josh Naylor. 3-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Wish he wouldn't have swung at that. But still probably would have been in the corner for a strike. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. Time is called by Randy. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, everyone that's donated to the cause for Paisley's emergency vet bill today. And again, hopefully we'll be able to cash in with a win and a sweep today. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, out of play. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. Shout out to everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Three-two pitch, little dribbler towards third and foul. For me though, Paisley's like my daughter. I don't have any kids, and she saved my life. So, no matter the money amount, I'll do whatever I can at any given stage in her life to keep her, alive and healthy. So, by any means necessary. But everyone's situation's a little bit different. 3-2 pitch. Almost hits him, and that's a walk, baby. Thankfully, Randy doesn't get hit in the head, and he kind of moves out of the way with that pitch inside. And now we got bases loaded again for the second time in the game for Josh Naylor. On deck is Cal Raleigh. Let's open the game up right here. See if we can get Bryce Miller to pitch for 8 innings, and let's see if we can get Josh Naylor and Cal Raleigh to really get this game from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0 Mariners. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Let's go, Naylor. First pitch right down the middle for a strike. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Come on, Naylor. No balls and 2 strikes for Urania and Naylor. I mean, how often are you going to get 2 opportunities with bases loaded? You got to cash in for at least an RBI single for, just to get us to 1. We don't need to be at 5. Just get to 1 and then see what happens with Cal after this. I mean, if you get a good hit enough, a good RBI for a single or double, it could end up being 2-0 or 3-0, but we haven't been able to get a whole lot in the outfield today. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Jesus, Naylor. 0 for 2 on bases loaded. My God. Come on, Josh. The batting order, got to figure something out there. It's like JP and the top of the order, JP, Julio, and Dom, I have confidence. Rayleigh, Cole Young, and Emerson at the bottom of the lineup, I got confidence. But in the middle of the lineup with like Randy and Naylor and Cal, who would have thought that that's the weakest part of our lineup? And it has been for a while now. It's like you can't really trust those guys in the middle as often as you would like. And obviously moving Cal, to the 6 is better than having, Cal at the 3. Dom is more deserving, but come on, guys. Now we got bases loaded for Cal. 1 good swing, it could end up being 4-0. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, but also 3 things that Randy, Naylor, and Raleigh have in common. They're all overly aggressive, and it's definitely hurt them, with the swings, in the batter's box, and it shows. 0-2 pitch to Big Dumper. Check swing, and it ends up going back to the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes from Urania to Raleigh. They also get into more 0-2 counts than any other players on the team. Randy, Naylor, and Cal lately. And sometimes they'll end up working the count, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in the middle of the order compared to the top and the bottom. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. But Cal has come up with some, moments, even though he's been overly aggressive. He's, gotten some game-winning RBIs for us. He hasn't really homered a lot for us, but, since coming back from the injury. But 1-2 pitch. Here we go, Cal. Line drive is just foul. But between Randy and Naylor and Cal, even though Cal has had a horrible year and been injured, I think I have more faith in Cal, getting a hit than Randy or Naylor more times than not. It's like once in a blue moon, Randy will get something, and then Naylor is probably the worst out of those 3. Not just today, but just in general, and then obviously Cal, injured and, overly aggressive. It's hurt us. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Urania to Raleigh. Two pitch, low and away. And, if we talk about Paisley, then that's what we're going to talk about. Some people are made for this channel and some people are not. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Take the walk if it's there. Take the walk if it's there. 3-2 pitch. Cal. Hard hit ball into right and foul. And I know it's not sexy, to take a walk, but if you get the walk and that runner from third comes home and it's 1-0, that's a hell of a lot better than striking out, popping up, or grounding out. I mean, we only got 1 hit today. J.P. Crawford with a double. We have an error by J.P. Crawford as well. And they have no hits, and they have an error themselves. So something's got to give between Urania and Bryce Miller. Try dance up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Cal. And I got the Cal jersey on today. Do it for Paisley, Cal. Come on, Cal. I got the dumper jersey on. Let's go. 3-2 pitch. It's a walk. Let's go. I don't think I've been as excited for a walk in my life. There we go. I mean, it wasn't pretty, right? It could have been disastrous like it was for Randy and Naylor, but now the pitcher goes out, Natera is coming in, and now we have a 1-0 lead. There we go. I got one bad thing that happened to me this morning, by having to go to the emergency vet, and then now Cal Raleigh trying to help us win and trying to recover the day. Good job, Cal, taking the walk. I mean, how often have we seen that situation and Cal swings at some garbage and then we're out of the inning, and we've seen Randy do it, Naylor do it twice today. I'm just happy that we're able to keep it going. And now we got Luke Raley, and then we got Cole Young. So if we can get to Cole Young or even Cole Emerson, hell, the game could end up being like 5-0 at that point. But, we just got to try to keep this inning alive. All right, Samuel Natera Jr. coming in. All right, let's see if we can rough up Natera Jr., and then all of a sudden it could be 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and then we can really be happy today. All right, first pitch into Luke Raley. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. All right, Samuel Natera Jr. on the mound, the lefty. And we got Luke Raley in the box. Come on, Luke. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Let's go, Mr. Hustle. O2 pitch, popped up and out of play. Let's go, baby. Bottom of the 6th, bases loaded with 2 outs. We got a 1-0 lead, and we're not going to look back. We got Miller on the mound, pacing for, still 8 or 9 innings based off his pitch count, probably 8. And let's see if we can add on a little more here. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and Luke can't get the job done. But at least we got the walk by Cal, which is not something that happens often. And we got a 1-0 lead. Now, could we have been up? 3, 4, 5-0 with bases loaded opportunities, but again, it could be like that Pittsburgh game where we had bases loaded 3 times and got 0 fucking runs. So I know it stinks when you leave bases loaded and you don't get anything, whether it's bases loaded, no outs, bases loaded 1 out, bases loaded 2 outs, but at least we got to 1. It wasn't sexy. It was bases loaded in a walk, but we'll take it. 1-0 M's. Great job. And JP Crawford ends up being the hero and also kind of the zero. He was the one that had that wild pitch or wild throw to Josh Naylor, but he made up for it with the double and then ends up coming home from Cal Raleigh. So, the good, the bad, and the ugly with JP, but I'm glad he's on our team. End of the 6th inning, 1-0 Seattle. Good job, JP. Way to make up for, your throwing error earlier in the game. Next up, for the Angels in the 2-hole 0 for 2, first baseman Nolan Shawnoel. Batting second 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Denser Guzman. And batting third 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, DHing Jorge Soler. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. $13 subs to go to 24,400. Looks like we gained a couple subs. 3. Now we only need 9. 9 subs to go to 24,400. Let's see how close we are to 200 likes. We got 312 in the room. And we're at 152. 48 to go. Yeah, Bryce is only at 69 pitches. So he not only will pitch the 7th inning, he'll probably pitch the 8th inning. And who knows, if the pitch count is low enough, he might go the whole game. And again, I wouldn't mind that. See if he can continue this no-hitter that he's on right now. First pitch takes a strike looking to Shawnoel. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Let's go, Bryce. 0-1 pitch. Popped up and out of play to Nolan Shawnoel. No balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Shawnoel. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And anything that we get, obviously, dono-wise today and the whole month of July will go towards that emergency vet bill that I had to cover today, which would be greatly appreciated. Anything that anybody can do, it would mean everything. 0-2 pitch, popped up and out of play. And I will be live on the channel tomorrow for Luis Castillo against the Blue Jays. And Castillo looked great in his last start for the Mariners. And then on the 4th of July, I'll be at T-Mobile for the only game that I'll be able to go to this season against the Blue Jays. And they're going to be doing the piggyback with Gilbert and Hancock. Little blooper. And Young and Weston Wilson try to get to that ball, and it drops just in between, and the no-hitter is over. Fuck. I mean, they tried. Young and Weston Wilson. I mean, if they would have went any further, they would have ran into each other, but it wasn't due to lack of effort. And the no-hitter is broken up. Now both pitchers have given up one hit, but still a very, impressive performance. And, even if we would have been able to get out of the 7th inning, more chances than not, Miller probably would have given up a hit in the 8th anyways. So, and we don't want to have anybody get injured. We already have plenty of those today, with Julio and Robles exiting the game. Julio getting hit in the head on a double play throw, running to second. And then Robles and Randy getting hit by pitches today. Robles and Julio exiting the game. And tough. I was really hoping that Miller could, get that no-hitter or get close to it, but it is what it is, as long as we win. 0-1 pitch to Guzman. Pop behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Guzman. Oh, I'm going to have a blast, man. I'm going to try to get a foul ball. I've been to 9 games and I've gotten 3 balls. So, I know how to get a ball. I don't heavily drink. I'm not eating. I'm watching the game very closely. I got an aisle seat, so I can move up and down the aisles, 3-4 rows in front and behind me. So 0-2 pitch, popped up into right. Diving grab is missed. Fuck. Weston Wilson misses a diving grab. Jesus. And obviously we're limited with guys obviously injured. And a diving attempt is missed. And now we have runners at first and second with no outs. And this is the biggest opportunity there. And Weston Wilson dove for it and it hit the bottom of the mitt, not the top. I mean, at least he tried, but luckily the ball didn't go really that far behind him. Otherwise, we might be down 2-1 right now, or at least tied 1-1. No, it's hard enough to have one dog, even though the name play is clever, but no, it's hard enough to take care of one dog, let alone 2. I mean, unless I can clone myself and not have to worry about, having $1,100 in vet bills in 3 months and then having to do that twice with another dog. But clever wordplay. First pitch is high and away to Jorge Soler, sweeper, 82 miles an hour, high, and a 1-0 count. One pitch, popped him up, and hopefully this will stay in foul territory, but it goes into the crowd. Yekno with a 20. Thank you so much, man. Every dollar counts. Appreciate you. Yekno with the 20. And like I said, every single donation today and all of the month of July, will go towards the emergency vet bill that I had to, cover here this morning. Kind of scary, having to go to the vet 3 times in 3 months when I usually go once a year for Paisley. But she's got a cone, 3 medications, and she'll have to wear that cone for about 2 to 3 weeks. But she's alive, and that's what matters. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Soler, and that is 1 away. Yeah, but we always talk about no-nos and know that more times than not, whether you bring it up or not, the chances of it happening is slim to none, regardless if it's talked about or not talked about. I mean, it's hard to get a no-hitter. It's not like it happens every day or every week or every month for that matter. Maybe a couple times a season if you're lucky. And it may not even be a player on your own favorite team. First pitch to Wade Meckler. In there for a strike, low and away. 0-1 count. Top of the 7th inning with runners at first and second and 1 out. Let's see if we can get a double play unless Miller is good enough to get back-to-back punch-outs, which is possible. Miller on the mound, Meckler in the box. Oh, 1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 1 out. Right ends up. Let's go M's. Little dribbler towards first and foul. I mean, if we're going to get a dribbler, we need one right up the middle for that double play. And And we got to be kind of thankful that JP's no longer playing shortstop, because he probably would overthrow Naylor on a double play. But not to say that Emerson and Young, can't make an error. We obviously know they're young as well, but I think we trust Emerson and Young more than JP throwing the ball to Naylor. I think that's pretty much an agreed statement by all. 1-2 pitch, and Miller steps off the mound. 3-2 record, ERA of 1.97 for Bryce Miller. We want him to be able to get to 4-2. Looks better on the stat page. Little dribbler towards first and foul. They had Bizzardo warming up, but I don't want to see Bizzardo in the game. Last time we saw Bizzardo, he fucked up. I don't really have a whole lot of trust. I think I would rather have Gabe Spire come in between Spire, Ferrer, and Bizzardo. I think I would rather have Spire come in. And there's no guarantee Spire doesn't blow it, but I think I trust Spire more than the other two, at least as of late. And then you have Nick Davila as far as the AAA guys, more than Rucker or Simpson, since Hoppy is in AAA. Popped up. And a strong throw by Luke Raley in center field, filling in for Julio and Victor Robles, who both were in center field and both have exited the game. And hopefully they'll be in the lineup tomorrow against the Blue Jays. And that is 2 away. Good job there by Luke Raley. 2 hits by the Angels, 1 hit by the Mariners. Obviously, we've been plunked and walked a few times today. But good defense there. Yeah, he's actually turned it around. He was really, really terrible, bottom 5, bottom 10 after being a top 5, top 10 closer for years. But the last, few opportunities, it seems like the grip on the slider is back. The confidence is back. And I actually trust him, and I haven't been able to say that much, about Mooney this year. And again, he's going to have good games, and he's still going to have games the rest of the season where he might blow, a 1-run lead or a tie game, but usually when we have a 2-run lead or more, he's money. So we only got a 1-run lead right now, so we need to be able to, get one more run. But if we're able to have a 2-0 lead and it's in the 9th inning and Mooney goes in, I feel confident we can win with Moody on the mound. But if it's a 1-0 or a tie, then it's kind of up for debate. We don't know what version will show up. Popped up. It's in foul territory and out of play. Well, yeah, but I'm not the only one that was mad at him. Everyone was. Ask anybody in the room. How do you go from being a top 5 closer in the game to being bottom 5 in the league? But again, he's definitely turned it around. But he was mentally in his own head, and the grip on the slider was terrible. And again, if you don't believe that you can get outs, then guess what? You're probably not. But he definitely has turned it around, and I'm proud of him. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Joe Adele. Cheryl with the $2 holla. Appreciate you. Rebecca in the building. What's good? 1-1 pitch. High and inside. 4-seam fastball missing. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Top of the 7th. 1-0 Mariners. And based on our bases loaded opportunities, we could be up 2, 3, 4, 5-0. But again, it just wasn't in the cards yet. But hopefully we can hang on to our 1-0 lead here and then add on a few more. 2-1 pitch. Got the corner. Ooh, didn't get the call, though. Splitter, high and inside. No challenge. 3 balls and 1 strike from Miller to Adele. Three 3-1 pitch. Little dribbler. Emerson is there. And the fielder's choice to Cole Young, and that is out number 3. Great fucking defense. And again, when you got guys that are young, right, and you trust them, and Colt Emerson and Cole Young, I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than that. We already know J.P. Crawford, for whatever reason, this season, he's playing in his 1,000th game, and obviously his 900 and 27th game in a Mariner uniform. It's 10th all time. JP used to be amazing, never really making errors and being great at shortstop, but maybe just the fact that he was looking over his shoulder, knowing that he was about to get replaced, by the phenom Colt Emerson, and then obviously moving to third, a harder throw to make from third to first than it is from shortstop to first. If you can't even make the throw from shortstop to first, how the hell are you going to make it from third to first? And, he has an error today, but we also have to be thankful that he had a double to make up for it. But I really love the fact that we got guys in, the phenom in his rookie season that can play both ways. And then a guy that is in his second year who is already one of the best second basemen defensively, and he'll just get better and better offensively. He'll get a Gold Glove this year. He's already saved the most runs for the Mariners besides Julio Rodriguez. And it's just nice to be able to know the future is very bright in Seattle. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning and let's see if we can add on another run or two. Leading off for the Mariners, one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player on the team. He is my favorite player on the team right now, with Colt maybe being number 2. 0 for 2 with a K. Time to get your first hit of the game, Cole Clutch Young. Batting second, 0 for 2 shortstop, Colt Emerson. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, who got that double for us, J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. Ice water in the veins. Let's make it happen. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning, 1-0 Mariners. And we're at 167 likes, 33 to 200. First pitch from Nateta Jr. to Young. Fouls that one off. 0-1 count. Yeah, but no offense, Judah, for being a Red Sox fan, but for you losing bets as a Red Sox fan because Mooney blew a save, that doesn't really concern us or Mariner fans. That's a personal issue for you. Obviously we're fans of our guys, so for you to have hatred towards him because you lost money, that's on you betting. That's not on us. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Nateta Jr. to Colt Clutch Young. Two-one pitch in there for a strike. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Nateta Jr. to Colt Clutch Young. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1-0 Seattle. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Nateta Jr. fooling Cole Young, which is unfortunate, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 9-hole, shortstop Colt Emerson, and then on deck is J.P. Crawford. Yeah. But unfortunately, we're not going to have sympathy for anyone that bets and loses and complains about it, especially if it's going to be an outside fan complaining about our guys blowing it for their bet, whether it's a regular on the channel like yourself or if it's just a random person coming in. So, first pitch from Nateta Jr. to Colt Emerson, low and away, 1-0 count. Slider 85 miles an hour there by Nateta Jr. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour from Nateta Jr. 2 balls and no strikes to Colt Emerson. Two-0 pitch, takes a strike right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1-0 Seattle. Two-one pitch, takes a strike right down the middle. Looks like Nateta Jr., he's not fully locked in, but you can tell he's confident on the mound coming in, after the performance that we had from the starter. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Nateta Jr. to Colt Emerson. And, we tried our best against Urania. He had 107 pitches before they pulled him. He only had 6 Ks, but he had 4 walks, and obviously plunked a couple guys, so wasn't really ideal. And obviously Julio and Victor Robles had to exit the game, and Randy got hit, and so we haven't really seen Randy do a whole lot since being hit as well. As Emerson strikes out swinging low and away, and that is 2 away. All right, time for J.P. Crawford to be able to make up for the throwing error, which he kind of did with the double. But let's see if he can really be the hero today and maybe give us something crazy like an unexpected home run here. Yeah, unfortunately for people that bet, though, is that they're just going to do it. They don't care what anyone says. Once someone is, a gambler, whether it's a casual gambler or, a compulsive degenerate gambler, they're going to gamble no matter what anybody says. They're going to continue. It's kind of an addiction, right? There's all kinds of addictions out there, and obviously to be able to find a good addiction like exercise and things like that. But unfortunately, there's so many bad addictions out there. And, just one of those things, that people that gamble will always gamble. It's very rare that they'll stop. They might slow down a little bit, but they will always gamble. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Nitero Jr. to J.P. Crawford. And for me, I'll never bet. I'd rather spend my money on Paisley and, invest it, rather than, thinking I'm going to be that big winner, where, the house is against you more times than not. Little dribbler up the middle, throw to JP. Luckily, he doesn't get hit in the back of the head like Julio did. And that is out number 3. All right, they got Edward Bizardo coming into the game, and I don't know if I like this, because last time we saw Bizardo, he looked terrible. So this will be an opportunity, I guess, to show that he isn't terrible, and to be able to turn it around. But I don't know. I think I would rather go, like Gabe Spire. I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Ferrer and Bizardo as of late, but again, sometimes they're great and sometimes, they're bootios. Let's just hope that this is the good version of Edward Bizardo, because last time we saw him, it was not good. And he used to be our best bullpen pitcher last year, and he definitely isn't the best this year. I'm a fan of consistency, and I know we've had injuries and guys have gone up and down, but, I can't act like I'm confident in someone when I'm not. I just got to call a spade, right? But we just got to pray that this is the good Bizardo. And honestly, Bryce Miller only being at 90 pitches with 8 Ks, I'd rather have Bryce come in for at least one more batter or two. If he's at 90, I know they don't want to stress guys going really over 100 that often, but based on how Bryce has pitched, I think I have more confidence than Bryce Miller pitching the whole 8th inning and keeping the game at 1-0 compared to Bizardo coming in, and it could end up being 1-1, 2-1, 3-1 Angels. And let's hope that doesn't happen, but I mean, he pitched 7 innings with 2 hits. He had fucking no walks, 8 Ks. It's not his fault that we had bases loaded a couple times and weren't able to cash in besides the Cal Raleigh walk. But, that's Dan Wilson, right? And when you got a guy like Dan Wilson, sometimes he's going to pull a guy too soon. Sometimes he's going to keep a guy in too long. Sometimes he's going to bring in the wrong guy, right? Like we saw with the back-to-back AAA pitchers when we had the victory, right? And then we ended up losing that game when we were up 4-1. So let's hope that this ends up working out, because again, as far as like feel of the game and fucking awareness for our team, Dan is even worse than Scott Service as far as like awareness, and that's saying something. Both are not very smart as far as late game decision makers, and let's hope that this version of Edward Bizardo can get the job done. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizardo to Peraza. Yeah, and unfortunately also too, it's taken over, sports in a bad way, It's like we can't even really enjoy, sports anymore, because you're going to have your gamblers that will always gamble, but then now you're getting people that normally would never gamble that are gambling and losing a lot, and again, it's one of those things. It's, this isn't the right place to complain about losing bets. Not necessarily we're talking about Judah, but just people in general, as we get the strikeout on Peraza, and that's one away. But, it's just kind of a shame with all of these different gambling websites. It's ruining sports, in my opinion. And you're seeing people cheat, and it's been like that for a long, long time. But now you're starting to see them crack down, on players, blowing games so that way they can win bets. And eventually you're going to get caught, and you're starting to see more and more athletes, getting caught. And, it's like there's plenty of conspiracy theories in sports as it is. The last thing that we need is to have millions of people, lose hundreds and thousands of dollars when they don't necessarily need to. But I guess that's, everyone thinks they're going to be a big winner. And so if there's a chance to win, it's like Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying I got a chance, as long as you think you have a chance, people will always continue to bet, regardless if they're good bettors or if they're just throwing money at the wall and hoping it sticks. We got a Mariners challenge, and there we go. It's overturned. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Lowe. And looks like this is the good version of Bizzardo. Much better than having bases loaded or giving up a couple runs, but we're not out of the mill just yet. 0-2 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Lowe. It's just kind of sad, the way things are going. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and this is the Bizzardo that I love. Let's go. 2 up and 2 down, and last time we saw Bizzardo, it's like, oh, single here, oh, walk here, single here, bases loaded, oh no, oh, he gave up a run, oh, another one, and it's just nice to be able to see him play well finally. And next up is Logan O'Hoppe. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count to Logan O'Hoppe. So far, so good here from Edward Bizzardo, which is nice. 1-0 pitch, fouls it off himself. I hope he's okay. Even if it ends up happening to an opposing team or player, I hate seeing guys foul it off their own, foot or leg. Nothing is more painful besides getting beaned. Scott with a tenner. Appreciate you, Scott. And popped him up. JP is there. There we go. Mission accomplished. Appreciate you, Scott. So Hawks, we had bases loaded, and then we ended up getting a walk, and then Cal Raleigh ended up, drawing that walk, and then JP ended up scoring. So 1-0 Seattle. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 8th, and let's see if we can get one more run for potentially Andres Munoz, so that way we feel a little bit more comfortable rather than it being 1-0 or 1-1 when we get nervous with Mooney. But when he has a 2-run lead or more, lately, he's been pretty damn good. All right, next up for the Mariners, the former Oriole, 0 for 1 with a K, Weston Wilson. See if he can make up for that diving grab that he missed in right field earlier in the game. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a walk, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a walk, and he also got plunked on the elbow and hasn't really got anything going since, but maybe he can pull something out of the hat, Randy Arozarena. All right, Sam Bachman coming in. First pitch into Wilson is low and away, 1-0 count. Pitch in there for a strike. So we got Sam Bachman on the mound, the righty. Look at the extension there in the photo. And then we got Weston Wilson, the former Oriole. Doesn't have any good Mariner photos yet because he's only played in a few games, but hopefully the photographers will take some more photos of him. 1-1 pitch, little foul tip in front of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bachman to Weston Wilson. One-two pitch, wild pitch that goes over O'Hoppy's head. And let's see if Wilson can force a walk, potentially. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bachman to Wilson. Trident's up, let's go M's. Two-two pitch, low and away. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, 1-0 Seattle. Three-two pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is 1 away. All right, next up for Sam Bachman is the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Nothing would make me happier than Dom going yard right here. Let's go, Dom. First pitch with kind of a half swing there by Canzone, which is odd. Slider, 86 miles an hour. It's almost like he was going to swing and then pulled back at the last second, but momentum already carried his bat forward. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, a little dribbler, and a little flip to first, and that is 2 away. No home run from Dom. That's unfortunate. All right, let's see if Randy Arozarena can pull something out of the hat after getting hit in the elbow above the padding. Hasn't really been the same since it happened, but let's see if Randy can come up with a single, double, triple home run, or maybe a walk. And hopefully not getting hit, by a pitch again. But again, someone has to take the role as being the Mariner that gets hit the most. It used to be Ty France, and Randy has taken over that role, whether he likes it or not. 1-0 pitch. Here we go. Yes! There we go. Randy with a blooper to left and a little Mariner magic and a little Soto mojo. He said, you know what? It really hurt getting hit in that elbow. But again, Mariner Moose says, I'm going to do it for him. Great job there by Randy. Let's see if we get a 2-out rally going. And we had Josh Naylor with bases loaded twice and came up with nothing. You really want to make it up to the Mariner fan base. You hit a home run right here, and then we're up 3-0, and we'll forget about leaving bases loaded stranded twice, Josh. Let's go. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Angels are out of challenges, which is great for us. Bottom of the 8th, 1-0 Seattle. We have already won the series, but we're trying to get the brooms out and get the sweep so that way we can carry this momentum over against the Blue Jays tomorrow. Even though the Mariners and Blue Jays aren't as good as they were at the end of last year right now, again, obviously the Mariners are on a little bit better of a track than the Blue Jays, but I do think it'll be a pretty entertaining series, and again, I'm really excited for the 4th of July to get the bucket hat, and hopefully I'll be able to get a foul ball at the game. 1-0 pitch popped up and in foul territory, and Naylor cannot cash in, and that is out number 3. All right, we got Andres Munoz coming in. We got the 1-0 lead, which isn't like the best scenario for him, but at least that, lately he's been on, and hopefully he'll be on like Edward Bizardo and Bryce Miller for the most part, and we end up winning this game 1-0. One run, 2 hits, and 1 error. 0 runs, 2 hits, and an error. But again, it hasn't been pretty. The pitching has been great. A lot of missed opportunities by the Mariners by not being able to get that big hit with bases loaded and guys on. But with that being said, we scored 4 runs, 6 runs, and then 8 runs. Game 1, it was 6-2. Cole Young had his first multi-homer game, and Dom homered. Then we had a 8-3 victory on Tuesday. World Cup Team USA won yesterday, even though our best player got a red card and won't be available for the round of 16. Boo! They just don't want USA to keep going. And then we ended up having the game today. And normally we don't have a break in between a game and a series, but when you end up having the World Cup, that's what they wanted to do to limit the traffic. And maybe if we played yesterday, I don't think we would be winning 1-0. I think we would have a few more runs, but even if we win 1-0, I don't think any Mariner fan is going to complain, based on how things have gone. We need to keep pace with the Rangers and obviously overtake them, kind of tied for that, spot, at least coming into today's game. And, we got the Blue Jays up next. So hopefully we can get the job done here. And, hopefully that Uncle Mo and that momentum will carry over. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. If Mooney plays today, the chance of him playing tomorrow is not likely, but it is possible. But, usually they don't like guys playing back-to-back. And, if they go back-to-back, it's usually not the closer. It's usually like, maybe like a Ferrer, but then they won't go 3 games in a row. That's kind of like the cutoff, but it is possible Mooney could go in back-to-back games, but, realistically, they would probably throw out like Spire or Ferrer, but they have done it in the past. It's kind of depending on what the score is. I mean, we may not even be in that position, to have Mooney come out tomorrow. We might get blasted by the Blue Jays tomorrow. We do have Castillo on the mound, but he did pitch really well in his last start. And then we're doing a piggyback on the 4th of July at the game that I'm going to. Logan Gilbert to start, Emerson Hancock to finish. Kind of exciting. And then we got George Kirby on Sunday at Peacock at 2 o'clock on July 5th. And Kirby was electric in his last start. So I like our chances to compete against the Blue Jays, even with Castillo tomorrow. But also we'll have to see, is Julio in the lineup? Is Robles in the lineup? Are they going to play or are they injured? Like, we'll have to wait and see. First pitch from Mooney to Neto, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. And you'll know how good Mooney is in the first 7 pitches. So. One-0 pitch, low and away. 2-0 pitch, low and away. And now 3-0. Come on, Mooney. Everything low and away. And this is not usually what you want to see with only a 1-0 lead. Yikes. And 4 straight balls. And a lot of times when Mooney starts off like this, unless we can get bailed out by the defense, that usually means the game is going to be 1-1. And then we have to try to win in the bottom of the 9th. Or they go up 2-1 and then they put the real pressure on the Mariner batters. But if there's a time to call a meeting, it's right now. You got to get Cal and the team there. And, sometimes Mooney and his velocity gets the best of him, and sometimes you got to dial it back a little bit, instead of going, 99, 100 miles an hour. Sometimes if you just dial it back 90 to 95 and you can hit your spots, that's better than Mooney just trying to throw his arm out of the socket and trying to throw through the hitter. And sometimes he'll be able to throw through the hitter and go right down the middle for 100 and it, they'll swing and miss. But think about how many times that he's had that mentality and then he gets burned for a home run or a back-to-back hits and then he blows a fucking game. So let's see what we get here. We may need a double play to bail him out before we potentially get this win. And another ball, 5 straight balls to start off for Mooney. This is not good. 1-0 count. Nolan Shonowell in the box. Fuck. 1-0 pitch almost hits him. 2 balls and no strikes to Nolan Shonowell. 6 straight balls, no strikes. And again, his last opportunity, he looked great. This is like the complete opposite. But again, it's a lot of pressure for a guy that's been sitting for 2.5 hours to come in locked and loaded. But at least Bizzardo was good. But finally on the 7th pitch, he got a strike. 4-seam fastball in the corner, 99 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Nolan Shonowell. Come on, Mariners. Come on, Mooney. Throw to first. Oh, he got him. He got him. Yes. Oh, don't injure him. Okay, Emerson falls down, gets tripped up, and they try to be able to steal a bag, and great awareness by Mooney and Naylor, and a throw down to Emerson, and we end up getting the out. Oh, baby. We got a caught stealing. And again, you got to think, with base running for the Mariners this year, that's something that we would do. Like all of a sudden you have a chance to tie the game up or win after the pitcher's having a meltdown, and then you do something dumb like that. And we've been the dumb ones in the past. Thankfully, we weren't the dumb ones there. Holy cow. Wow. What a bailout. 2-1 pitch, hard hit ball, out of play. And now maybe the momentum will swing in the Mariners' favor. But that was one of the worst base running blunders. And I'm really thankful that wasn't us, because we've had real terrible base running this year. Wow. What a terrible decision by the Angels there. But I'm happy they did it. 2-2 pitch, line drive up the middle. Fuck for a base hit. And that probably would have scored a run. And Neto gets caught stealing, and Shonowell with a single up the middle. We need a double play. Slow dribbler up the middle and a ball game, because we can't trust that Mooney's going to get punch outs here. So Shonowell is getting replaced. Jose Siri, the base runner. All right, and now we have a Denser Guzman in the box. 1 for 3 with a K. Give me a slow dribbler up the middle and a double play for Emerson, Young, and Naylor ball game. Just to get Mooney out of this, whatever you want to call this performance is. Give me that slow dribbler up the middle for that double play, please. First pitch, right down the middle for a strike. 4-seam fastball, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Top of the 9th, runner at first with 1 out, 1-0 Mariners, and I want a 1-0 final. Please. I mean, after having to go to the emergency vet this morning and pay $400, I need a Mariner victory. 0-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Mooney to Guzman. Let's go. 0-2 pitch. Holy shit. Hard hit ball. Ooh. Oh my God. Thankfully that went foul. He crushed that ball. And if that would have stayed fair, 2-1 Angels. Yikes. Be careful, Mooney. That was eye-opening. Aye. Top of the 9th, runner at first with 1 out, 1-0 Mariners, 0-2 pitch. Popped him up. Rayleigh is there. Communicate. There we go, and that is 2 away. Thankfully, Rayleigh and Randy don't run into each other. Good job by Luke playing center field after we had Julio there. He got hit in the head trying to, go to second base as they were trying to get a double play, and played an inning and then had to exit. Then Victor Robles took a spot, and then he got hit by a pitch, and then he had to exit. And now we have Luke Rayleigh in center, and now we're down to Jorge Soler. We don't need a double play now. Pop up, ground out, strike out. We don't care. We want a 1-0 victory. Hard hit ball, and it ends up being into left field to Randy. And now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs. Well, considering I had to take her to the emergency vet, today, and she had 3 vet visits in 3 months for $1,100. That's not ideal, but at least we have great fans here that will help support, keeping her alive and keeping her healthy in a tough time for me. But she's wearing a cone. She has 3 medications. she's living. She's, not going to pass away, which is, nothing I want to talk about or think about. Now we got Walton running for Solaire, but again, hopefully this will be the last vet visit that I have this year. All right, top of the ninth with runners at first and second with 2 outs. Next up is Wade Meckler. And now we just got to find a way to win this game 1-0 so that way I can actually be happy after a very tough day for me and Paisley this morning. Now we got a mound visit with the whole team, trying to get Mooney on the same page here. And hopefully we can get the pop-up, the ground out, or the strikeout here. No, I don't really do GoFundMe stuff. I mean, we have dono trains on the channel every day, and again, if people can support a good cause, taking care of my pup when I have some crazy, unexpected vet, emergency, we have enough really good people on the channel that will be able to help out not only today, but obviously all month long. Agreed, Chris. And no matter how good Mooney does, it seems like he always ends up giving up a hit or two or walking a batter or two. That's just kind of the MO this year, unfortunately. First pitch. Little dribbler up the middle. Give it to me. Get it. Throw to first. Ball game. Yes, let's go. A sweep on the Angels. Let's go. It wasn't pretty, but we'll take a 1-0 victory. And that's good defense there by the Mariners. Whether it's Colt Emerson or Cole Young, you can count on them on getting the game won. Let's go. Let's go. A sweep on the Angels, and hopefully we can do the same thing to the Blue Jays. That's what I'm talking about, baby. It wasn't pretty. Bases loaded a couple times. We weren't able to get the job done. Naylor choked twice, but at least Cal forced a walk, and that's how we end up winning the ball game. And, Bryce Miller was fantastic. And, again, sometimes games are going to be like this. They're going to challenge. And that is ball game after the challenge. And sometimes you got to win ugly, right? And sometimes that happens when you win, 1-0. But when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. We get the sweep, get the brooms, and we end up sweeping the Angels. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Pride ends up. Let's go, M's. And let's go over the stat line for both teams. I mean, there's not a whole lot, considering it's a 1-0 game and both pitchers were pretty dominant. But Rick Riz is loving it. Paisley's loving it. And I'm really loving it and appreciating all of y'all. All right, let's go. Leadoff hitter, Zach Neto, 0 for 3. Nolan Shawnuel had a good game, 2 for 4, but couldn't get that RBI. Denser Guzman, 1 for 4. Jorge Soler, 1 for 4. Wade Meckler, 0 for 4. Joe Adell, 0 for 3. You can see a theme here. Oswald Peraza, 0 for 3. Josh Lowe, 0 for 3. And Logan O'Hoppe, 0 for 3. So we got incredibly lucky there. And then let's go with J.P. Crawford in his 1,000th career game. 1 for 4 with a run. He did have the error, but he ended up getting a double after that. And he was the runner that came home from third and scored when Cal walked. So good, bad, and the ugly. Sometimes that happens for us, right? Julio and Robles exited with no, obviously, at-bats after the injuries. And then Dominic Canzone, 0 for 3, which is rare. Randy Arozarena, 1 for 2. Josh Naylor with bases loaded twice and choked twice, unfortunately, went 0 for 4. Got to be better, Josh. And, clutch situations, we're going to need you to come up big at least once out of 2 opportunities with bases loaded. But luckily, we were still able to get it done. Cal went 0 for 2, but got the RBI with a walk. Good job, Cal. Luke Raley, 0 for 3, which is rare. Cole Clutch Young, 0 for 3. And Colt Emerson, 0 for 3. You normally don't really see too much of that. And then, obviously, we got to showcase Bryce Miller. Because if he didn't pitch well, we don't win this game. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 8 Ks, 90 pitches, 66 strikes. And guess what? ERA with a season high 1.71. Wowza. And then Bizzardo wasn't very good in his last outing and ended up getting 2 Ks, a 2.11 ERA. So good job by Bizzardo. And then obviously Mooney, like I mentioned, he doesn't do well when we are a 1-run lead or when the game is tied. But when we have a 2-run lead or more, he's amazing. But I don't know if it's just the pressure of when the game is tied or when we have a 1-run lead. But there's been a lot of games when Mooney has had a 1-run lead or the game is tied 1-1 and he blows it. But thankfully, we have good defense behind him. And he didn't have any Ks, right? He ended up walking a guy, giving up 2 hits. That's kind of what he does. But luckily, we have guys that we know we love and we trust that can play defense, like Cole Young, like Colt Emerson, and they got the job done. Final score, Seattle 1, Angels 0. Bryce Miller gets the win, which is awesome, right? And we can get Bryce Miller to a 4-2 record, 1.71 ERA. I love it. Urania gets the loss, and Mooney gets his 16th save. I don't know if he deserves it. It was really not him getting it, but you know what I mean. But we'll take it, even though it wasn't pretty. And we now are 2 games above 500 at 45 and 43. So we got to be able to do the best that we can with what we have to work with. So, and we're not very good in 1-run games this year as well, compared to how we have been in the past. So Trident's up. Let's go M's. And it's like, the way that things have gone this year, we haven't, had too many sweeps, whatsoever. So thank you, man. I appreciate you. And any amount is greatly appreciated. Whether that's on the PayPal, on the Venmo, on the Cash App, or on the Super Chat. Appreciate you. Very close, but a sweet victory. Absolutely. Looking forward to the matchup with your favorite team and our favorite team starting tomorrow with Castillo on the mound. Thank you so much, and that'll definitely put in a little bit of a dent in that $400 vet bill, obviously earlier this morning. So thank you guys so much for all your love and your support and your generosity. It really does mean everything. Shout out to all the people that donated, all the people that commented, all the people that shared and subbed to the channel. Shout out to all the people watching in the United States, Canada, South America, Mexico, Asia, and beyond. It really does mean a lot. And again, every single dono all month will go towards that cause, obviously with Paisley and the vet fund. So it really does mean a lot to have so many caring individuals like you guys, whether you're a Mariner fan or not, it really does mean a lot. So love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Final score, Mariners 1, Angels 0. We get the brooms out and we get a sweep. Someone pinched me. It actually happened. And we'll be live tomorrow in the evening for the Blue Jays and the Mariners. On Saturday, on the 4th of July, everyone be safe. I will be at the game. Look for me. And hopefully I'll get a foul ball with my best friend when we end up having Logan Gilbert and Emerson Hancock on the piggyback. And they're giving away those bucket hats away. I'm sorry I will not be able to call that game, but I'll be excited to be there at T-Mobile for the only game for me this season, more than likely. And then I'll be back in the booth on Sunday, 2 o'clock on Peacock exclusive with George Kirby on the mound. So we'll see how it goes, but I look forward to seeing all of you guys tomorrow. And I'm really excited for the 4th of July as well. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics all day, and everyone else. TJ, love you guys. Appreciate you guys for all your help with the mod duties. And I love you. Trident's up. We got the sweep. Mariners, I love you. And let's go M's. Trident's up and go Mariners.